I talked in the last program about a biblical principle of hearing and speaking forth. Salvation comes by hearing, by the Word of God. We hear it enough, it gets into our heart. When we confess unto salvation, and our lives are changed. That's God changing our spirit, changing our soul. We're changed with that act of believing in our heart and confessing with our mouth. Healing is the same principle. We hear, we gain faith in our heart eventually, 2 hearings, through the inner ear of our heart, and then we speak forward with that creative power connected to the heart. So healing, miracles, divine provision, restoration, everything works the same way. That's how we appropriate the promises of God. I'm talking about a heavenly reality of how we appropriate. This is God's language. This is the methodology that God uses. Well, in the Old Testament, Joshua is facing a real crisis. Moses is dying. He's about to die, and he knows that he has to lead the children of Israel into the promised land, and he feels totally unequipped. You ever feel that way, guys?
Yes.
We were talking about that earlier. The call is on Joshua, and he's really struggling with this call, and the Lord speaks to him in Joshua chapter 1, verse 8, and he says, "This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth." That's weird. What do you mean, out of thy mouth? It should be out of your heart, out of your mind, but it's out of your mouth. You shall meditate therein day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written therein, for then thou shalt make thy way prosperous and have good success. Friends, I'm not giving you a definition of success or prosperity. The scriptures are.
Yeah.
God is.
It's God's promise.
And the promise is, if you will meditate on my word day and night, you will be successful. If you'll meditate. Well, what does meditate mean? In English, meditate means to be contemplative. It means to be introspective, right? It means just to ponder. And we have a Hebrew word that reflects the same idea, sikah. Sikah is what became the Christian understanding of meditation, which may land you in a monastery without speaking, right? You're just contemplating. That's not the Hebrew word that's used here. An example of why Hebrew is so important. The word is Haggah. Haggah, and we derive from Haggah the story of the Passover. We have a book that's called the Haggadah. You know what it means? It means to tell. We tell the story of Passover. Haggah means to mutter. Haggah means to confess. Haggah means to speak repeatedly the same thing over and over again. It's with the mouth. That's why he tells Joshua, if you will keep my words on your mouth.
Wow.
It's about confession. Why confession? Why success as a result of confession? Meditation, Haggah, is to say it over and over again until you hear it, and when you hear it enough to believe it, it becomes a reality. You know, I think I can, the little story, I think I can, and then it becomes I know I can. That's why if you tell a child they're no good, you'll never amount to anything, the rest of their life they'll be plagued with that because of the power of the tongue. You'll never be any good. I didn't want you. You'll never amount to anything. They need a supernatural deliverance. You know what I tell my child? You will live and not die.
Come on.
And you will serve the Lord like Rebecca and Rachel. I tell my 10-year-old, you and your spouse are going to be knit together. You're going to be successful in all you do, Hannah. You know what? I'm speaking life to her. And I speak the word of God over her. Joshua, you want to be successful? You want to lead millions of your people into the promised land and have victory after victory? Confess the word of God. Confess who I am in your life over and over and over again, and you will prosper.
Amen.
Wow.
That's why confession is so important.
Wow.